In the old Italian city of Verona, two powerful families, the Montagues and the Capulets, hate each other deeply. No one remembers why the feud started, but it's been going on for years. Even their servants fight on the streets. After one public brawl, the Prince of Verona warns them all, if there's another fight, someone will pay with their life. Among the Montagues is young Romeo. He's moody and romantic, always lost in his feelings. At first, he's crying over a girl named Rosalind who doesn't love him back. His cousin, Benvolio, and his quick-witted friend, Mercutio, tell him to forget her and go to the Capulets' big costume party. Romeo agrees, hoping to see Rosalind there. At the party, Romeo spots Juliet, Lord Capulet's daughter. She's only 13, but she's smart and gentle. The moment they see each other, it's like lightning. Love at first sight. They talk, they flirt, and they share a quick kiss. Then they discover the bad news. Romeo is a Montague, Juliet a Capulet. Their love is forbidden. Later that night, Romeo sneaks into the Capulet garden and hides under Juliet's balcony. She comes out, speaking to the night about her love for him, wishing he had another name. Romeo hears her and answers. They talk softly, confessing their love, and promise to marry in secret. The next day, Romeo visits Friar Lawrence, a kind priest. Though surprised by Romeo's sudden love, the friar agrees to marry them, hoping it might end the feud. Juliet's nurse helps with the plan, and soon after, Romeo and Juliet are secretly married. But only hours later, things fall apart. Juliet's cousin, Tybalt, challenges Romeo to a fight. Romeo refuses because Tybalt is now his cousin by marriage. Mercutio steps in and Tybalt kills him. Furious, Romeo fights Tybalt and kills him in revenge. The prince arrives and banishes Romeo from Verona. If he ever returns, he'll be executed. Romeo hides with Friar Lawrence. That night, he visits Juliet one last time. They spend the night together, saying their tearful goodbyes before he leaves to Mantua. The next morning, Juliet's parents tell her she must marry a wealthy man named Paris in 2 days. Juliet refuses, but her father threatens to disown her. Desperate, she runs to Friar Lawrence again. He gives her a dangerous plan, a potion that makes her look dead for about 2 days. When her family believes she's gone, Romeo will come to take her away once she wakes. Juliet drinks the potion that night. The next morning, her nurse finds her cold and lifeless. Her parents are heartbroken. They lay her body in the family tomb. But Friar Lawrence's message never reaches Romeo. The messenger is stopped by a plague quarantine. Romeo's servant sees the funeral and rushes to tell him Juliet is dead. Devastated, Romeo buys poison and rides back to Verona. At the tomb, he finds Paris mourning Juliet. They fight, and Romeo kills him. Inside, he kneels beside Juliet's body, believing she's truly gone. He kisses her, drinks the poison, and dies beside her. Moments later, Juliet wakes up and finds Romeo dead. She kisses him, hoping some poison remains, but there's none left. The friar begs her to leave, but she refuses. She takes Romeo's dagger and ends her life. When the guards and the prince arrive, Friar Lawrence tells everyone the truth. The Montagues and Capulets finally see what their hatred has done. They make peace and promise to honor Romeo and Juliet with golden statuses. In the end, 2 lovers die trying to be together, and 2 families learn, too late, that pride and anger can destroy everything. As people say, love can move mountains, but hate can bury them just as fast. Okay, I hope you enjoyed listening to this story about a classic tale of romance and tragedy, which is Romeo and Juliet by William Shakespeare. Personally, I think Shakespeare was a poetic genius. Let me know if there are any fans of his work in the comments, or if you know of his plays and writing. Okay, so now let's get into some explanations and breakdown of some of the words and phrases that we just read in the story. What does it mean to pay with your life? Well, basically, what this phrase means is someone will die as a result of their actions. In other words, it's their life itself which will pay for the actions or the situation that they're in. So it's not a literal payment with money. It's often used when someone takes a risk or does something dangerous and they die as a result. So let's look at some examples of how we might use this phrase. The soldier paid with his life to help his comrades from the explosion. So the soldier died in battle to help his friends. He ignored the warnings and ended up paying with his life. So he died because he ignored the warnings. So next in the story, it describes Romeo as lost in his feelings. What does it mean to be lost in your feelings? Well, imagine you're deep in the forest and you're lost and unable to find the way home. Think of it like this. Instead of being lost deep in the forest, you're lost in your emotions. Maybe you're confused, heartbroken, or sad, but either way, you are lost in those feelings. You're lost and you cannot find a way out. So let's look at some examples. After the breakup, he was so lost in his feelings. After the breakup, he was so lost in his feelings, he couldn't get out of bed. So he was so heartbroken, his emotions took over and he was unable to move from his bed. He stared out the window, lost in his feelings, remembering every word she said. So here he was deeply emotional and unable to move on from what had happened. Next in the story, there is the phrase, "It's like lightning." What does that mean? You know lightning, when there's a storm, this big electrical light in the sky. So this can strike quickly and powerfully, right? It's like lightning basically means that something happening suddenly and powerfully. And it's often an emotion or a feeling like love or anger or excitement. Here are some examples. When their eyes met, it was like lightning, sudden, powerful, and exciting. So they felt an immediate spark connection. The idea struck her like lightning. So that means the idea came fast and powerfully to her. Okay, the next phrase. This is a nice poetic one. Speak to the night. So in true Shakespeare style, this phrase is very poetic. This phrase means that someone is talking out loud to themselves, often reflecting in deep emotion and thought. It can often come from loneliness or sadness. It's like pouring your heart out to the darkness because nobody's there to listen to you. It's so romantic. So, how could we use this phrase? He sat on the porch, speaking to the night about all the dreams he had lost. She whispered his name softly, speaking to the night, wishing he might hear her somewhere. So here she's missing someone and talking to herself out of nostalgia and loneliness. Okay, the next phrase I'm going to break down. Things fall apart. Personally, I love this phrase because it's so metaphorical. It basically means that everything starts to go wrong. So relationships break down, maybe your life, your job, everything. It's kind of a poetic way of saying that everything is collapsing, metaphorically falling apart. So, for example, after the scandal, things fell apart for the company. So here this means the company started to fail because of a bad situation. When trust is gone, things start to fall apart, no matter how much love is there. So basically, if there's no trust, a relationship cannot survive. Okay, moving on to the next phrase. Ends her life. In the story, this phrase comes up. End her life. to end someone's life. What does that mean? It sounds a bit dramatic, and it is actually. This is a serious and pretty sensitive phrase. So it means that a person takes their own life, by suicide. If you know the story of Romeo and Juliet, then you'll know that this is a very key, important part of the story. And remember, this is not used casually. This is deeply tragic and a sad phrase. Here are some example sentences. The heroine ends her life after losing someone she loves. The film shows the pain that led her to end her life. The last phrase I'm going to break down is make peace. Well, honestly, I think this phrase is quite easy to guess. You've got two words here, make and peace. So this is an easy, quick phrase that we can use to simplify what would be a longer sentence. It quite literally means to create peace or a peaceful situation with someone. So it really means to stop fighting and holding grudges with another person or a situation. It's really about forgiveness, understanding, and moving on with something. So here's how it might sound in a sentence. After years of fighting, the brothers finally made peace with each other. So they stopped fighting and became friends. He made peace with his past and finally started living again. So he accepted what happened before and finally started enjoying life again. All right, that's all the phrases. I hope that I explained them more clearly for you. So now let's move on to some of the words that are in the story. I'll break down some key words for you to understand it a little better. Let's get into it. The first word is deeply. When someone feels something deeply, this is not just a passing emotion. This is something that hits right in the heart. You feel it all the way through. So this is not just a surface level thing. For example, she was deeply moved by his words. That means she had a deep emotional reaction to what he said. He cared deeply about others. That means it wasn't just for show, it was genuine compassion. Okay, next, the word feud. What is a feud? Sounds a bit strange. A feud is more than just a simple argument. It's a long, stubborn fight that keeps going. So this is the perfect word to describe the battle and long-lasting argument between the Capulets and the Montagues in the story of Romeo and Juliet. They're two families which have had a long-lasting fight and argument with each other for many, many years. Sometimes no one can even remember how these feuds start, but they can last for a long time, for generations even. So think also mafia or sworn enemies that can't stop fighting. For example, the two families had been in a feud for generations, or the celebrity feud took weeks and weeks to get over. Here, we're talking about celebrities that are fighting online for weeks and weeks, and they just don't stop. Maybe even years, I don't know. The next word is brawl. Okay, picture this, shouting, things flying, punching, so loads of people in the crowd just acting aggressive. It's a big, messy fight, usually involving lots and lots of people. If you've ever been to a football game and seen hooligans, then you'll know what a brawl looks like. Or if you've been out in a bar somewhere and someone starts a fight and everyone gets involved, this is a good example of a brawl. So in a sentence, it could look like a brawl broke out at a bar because someone spilled a drink. That's like a tongue twister, that one. Football fans got in a brawl after they blew the whistle. Okay, have you ever met someone who had a clever answer for everything and very quickly? That's an example of the next word that I'm going to explain, quick-witted. So quick-witted describes a person that thinks very fast and is witty and funny. For example, she's so quick-witted. She has a joke and a response for everything. So she's sharp and funny without even trying. The comedian's quick-witted humor kept everyone on their toes. This sentence means the comedian was really funny and nobody knew what to expect next. Okay, next in the story, the word spot. Now, spot has multiple meanings in English. Here we're saying to spot. So, what this means in the story here is basically to look or to see something. But what makes it different from just to look or to see? When we spot something, that means we notice it very quickly or suddenly, and often it's kind of unexpected. So here are some examples. He spotted his friend in the crowd and went over to say hi. So that means he was in the crowd and by chance he saw a friend of his and he went over to say hello. She spotted a typo in the sign right away. She saw a sign and she quickly noticed a mistake. Okay, so what does the word forbidden mean? Forbidden means something off limits or taboo, and this usually comes with some temptation. It's the thing you want to do, even though you know you shouldn't. For example, their love was forbidden. No one was supposed to know about it. Or the cave was forbidden territory. No one was allowed to go in there. All right, the last word I'm going to explain is confessing. So the word confessing means to own up or to be honest about something. This can be a bad thing that you've done or maybe some true feelings that you've been holding on to. So for example, he confessed his love to her after pretending he didn't care. So here he's finally being truthful and honest about how he feels. The thief confessed to his crimes when the evidence became too strong. So he owned up to what he did. No more lies. Okay guys, that's a wrap for today. I really hope you enjoyed this story and this video. So let me know in the comments. If there are some other genres or types of stories that you like. And please don't forget to like and subscribe for more English content like this. Thanks for watching, everyone. See you next time.